So we are just about to get underway with round two between Andrew Eames and James Squires. Callum, if you're there, you're going to get the chance to commentate now. So, yeah, I'll leave you to it, and the guys will start drawing, and we'll get underway.
Okay, this is round two from the BMSC. I'm not sure what result these players had in the first game. I know Andrew Eames quite well, player from Luton, good standard player. James Squires, I've seen his name, but I don't think I've ever met him. So we will see how this goes. This could be a bit of an unknown, this one. And I'm just waiting to see the first racks. Andrew Eames seems to have an interesting first rack. QVP MET blank. I think I would change 4 with that rack. QVPM would be going back in the bag, I think. ET blank is strong. MET blank, maybe. But I think I would just keep ET blank. James Squires' rack is EEENIRS. Nothing is jumping out at me from that. Perhaps it should be. Yes, Eamesia and Esserine. Sorry, it's been a long week. Eamesia and Esserine are the two bonuses from James Squires' rack. I think Eamesia is new. Esserine has been in quite a while. I think Eamesia, well, I say new, it came in the 2015 dictionary update. It looks like Andrew has changed the 4 that I suggested he should change. And Eamesia has gone down. Eamesia is being played by James Squires for 66. So not a good start for Andrew here. He's changed tiles and he's ended up with tiles that don't look great. There might be some obscure 8 in there. I will have a think about that. According to Quackle, there is no 8 there. And Andrew's played you quite quickly. So, and would you believe Andrew has picked the Q back up? James's second rack does not look as good as his first. Yeah, Andrew must be quite annoyed right now with that pickup. He's got 2 T's, a Q, 2 E's and a blank. I can't see a bonus for him. He would need to use the blank as a U. I'm not sure. Oh, James is apparently playing Blah. Nahal was the best move there at 6-8. So Nahal making AYE, HER and AW would have been the best play. Blah doesn't look too bad. Blah looks a reasonable play there. Yeah, Andrew in trouble. I mean, he's a long way behind us. I think I'd change again. I would change keeping ET blank again, or maybe ETC blank. Having had an initially quite a good first rack, James is struggling himself a little bit now with the rack. Yeah, I feel a bit for Andrew at this point because he can't do much about this at the moment. I can't see anything there, but I think a change is the best option here, because that Q is only going to get in the way of him bonusing with that blank. I've just using Ziziver to help me. I've just found Coquette. So yeah, it's funny. There's sometimes a bonus play where you least expect one. So it's not an easy spot though. I didn't spot it. I don't know whether Andrew will spot it. I would expect him to know the word, but it's not an easy find. Oh, actually, no, Coquette does not play. No, I was looking up the wrong rack there. I was looking up with 2 blanks, which was wrong. So no Coquette. I'll apologies for a few early errors from me here. It's the first time I've done this, and it's difficult to think on my feet at times. But yeah, I don't think Sherwood was the right play. I think I would have changed again. And now Andrew has the K as well. Yeah, so it's going from bad to worse for Andrew at the moment. I think something like Woon is a reasonable play if James can get that down anywhere. The only place I can see it plays creates an S hook for Swoon. Oh, Wanyan and Weensia. 31 would be the best play. But Wu is going down for 20. I don't personally like keeping the 2 ends. Now, it's not looking great for Andrew at present. He's got that blank, but he's getting some really clunky stuff with it. I would probably advocate changing again here. I'm still in favour of keeping this ET blank. It didn't work the first time for Andrew, but he needs to get rid of this Q and K. Not that there aren't some very good words with a Q and K in it. Worth mentioning that Nuala O'Rourke played Sea Quake for a non-bonus 78 against me at the World Championship. It's probably one of the best plays made against me in that tournament. And Andrew's played Coke. He's hoping to get I think he's hoping to pick up the right tiles to get a bonus with that Q, which may not be a bad idea. But I still find I think that Q is a hindrance. Not a bad pickup. I think Andrew has a bonus now. I think he has dead track, if I've got that rack right, through the E of Coke. And James has played Amino. So the detract spot is there if Andrew knows it and sees it, and it would get the Q on. It's not an easy one to track. It's a little way down the probability scale. Failing that, maybe change Q. Or play the Q for 11. Yeah, that would definitely be better. But yeah, detract is the play. If Andrew knows it and spots it. Quark for 54 appears to be going down using the blank. That's fair enough. If if the second best play is QI, then Cork using the blank has to be better than that, I think, because it's 40 more points. And the general rule of thumb is that if the blank, if you can score 25 points more by using the blank, you should use the blank. Personally, I'd err more towards 30, 35. That's just my tendency. I would prefer to be getting an extra 30, 35 for using the blank. But yeah, I think yeah, James has quad or quad, QUAD or QUOD. I would favour QUAD, favour QUOD, but in this case, James has two A's, so any repeat letter is a bad thing. So I would advocate using one of those A's. Andrew has E. Demar on his rack, I think, if I've got that right, and coked. You could put the D on the end of coke. Just checking, Edem Marta. No, I'm wrong because it's 3 E's. No, I don't think Andrew's got much there. You could play Edem Marta as a non-bonus through the A of Quark. Probably better to use fewer tiles than that, though, I would think. Maybe needs to start fishing towards a bonus. Maybe something like EM and a double M. That so EM and scores 22 and leaves a fairly strong rack. Looking at James's rack, that's very strong. He's got Anis Sol there, and I presume Chert will take an S. Looking at that D up there. Nothing with a D because it's nodalized, so the D would need to be in a different space. Anisol looks like the best play to me on the end of Chert. So Andrew's picked up the J. His play of Dame scored decently. He's getting his way back into this game. So Andrew plays Dame 31, and Anisol goes in 2 spots. James has played it making TA. I'm wondering if he was unsure of the S on Chert. I can't see any other reason why he would do that. Because it opens up a 9 timer and it scores less than it would have done on the end of Chert. But of course, not everything takes an S, as I found out the other day, putting an S on the end of BEAUX, which I probably should have known better. So yeah, always best to play safe if you have a bonus. It looks like Andrew has played Egret for 24. It wasn't the best play by the looks of it. That may have been to take out that 9 times spot, which is not always the best thing to do because you never know what your opponent's rack is. And if you look at what James Squires' rack is, which is CFGPITV, there was no question of him being able to get a 9 timer in that spot. But you're not to know. He could have been sitting there with retains, or retain blank or something like that. But it's, yeah, JW was a better play, I think. Because that J is always tricky on the rack. Now, James is struggling a bit with these consonants here. He's quite a long way ahead. A change might not be unreasonable. Anyone listening may be getting the idea by now, but I do quite like a change. And the problem with this clunky rack here is that if he tries to play it off gradually, he might pick up more clunky stuff, and his scoring might be inhibited later on. It might be better just to get rid of it. Keep something like IT or CIT. FAP scores 16. That's through the A of Quark. It's not a great rack. COFT for 18 possibly, but it's leaving. The temptation when you're ahead is to try to keep scoring, but on this occasion a change might free him up a bit. Just looking around to see if I'm missing anything. Oh, there's Vifta for 24 is the highest scoring play. Thanks to Jessica for bringing up some choices on the screen. Gift for 20, Evict for 20, Vatic for 20. Yeah, these are all, yeah, pretty worth considering. I still like that change though. That's just my personal opinion on it. I still like the change. But I'm looking at that from where I'm sitting here. If I was sitting at the board, I might be thinking just stay ahead, just keep scoring and stay ahead. It looks like we've got a championship player simulation coming here, so we might know more in a minute as to what the right play is. Yeah, I think if I was actually playing the game, I might want to play a 24 point move. It's certainly a tricky rack, and it's taking some time for James to work out what he's going to do with this one. Okay, there's gift is best. There's no change in that simulation. So exchange. If you go down the bottom, exchange FGPV is somewhere down in the sort of 15-20 region on the list of moves. So I would have played a suboptimal play there. And just waiting to see what the play was. The play was coughed for 18, which was one of my suggestions. Andrew is playing Jeune, Jeune, for 60. So he's gradually working his way back into this game. James has a tricky rack. He's got VUGH there. I'm just waiting to see if there's a spot where that will play. Looks like Andrew's picked the second blank. there are bonuses there with Andrew's rack. Just looking at James's rack for a minute. He's got VUGH. I can't see a spot for that. That would be the first thing that would occur to me with that rack. It's looking a tricky one. Yeah. I'd spotted a couple of sevens with Andrew's rack, a Betor and a Batero. It's also Tabaret, and according to Ziziva, those are the only available sevens with that rack. Still trying to work out what I would do in James's position here. It's very tricky. Yeah, this is difficult to see any scoring moves for me anyway at this time. Something like Hag, making HAM, AMI, and GEN leaves a terrible rack though. WEUGH from the WE that is already on the board. I'm going to check that to make sure. I'm pretty. No, I've got that wrong. I think what I'm thinking of is WHEUGH. Yep. HEUGH takes a W on the front of it. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Vega scores 23 at 3G. And also 3F, we have PUGH, and that's the play. Now, looking at what Andrew's options are here, trying to find a spot for one of these sevens. There are probably eights here. Teensia, so Tabaret on the front of Eensia, making Tabaret and Teensia. There must be an 8 through that eye, but I'm not seeing it yet. But that looks a good play actually. Teensia and Tabaret. Oh, Abattoir through the eye. Jessica's just put that option up on the screen. Tabaret's the best play though, I think. Scores 8 more than Abattoir. There's a hold on Tabaret, I believe. There's a challenge on Tabaret. I'm expecting this to come back good. Yeah, Tabaret 76 plus 5, so 81 for Tabaret. So Andrew Eames, from seeming about 100 behind, I think he was at one stage, he is now ahead by 15 points. And James Squires' rack does not look promising. Yeah, I had a couple of games like this at the World Championship where I went flying off at the start, just as James has done in this game, and then it all gets very awkward at times. Utopia for 20 would be James' best play here, according to Quackle. Vega for 27 is the move he's made, which is not bad. Puts him back in the lead. Andrew's, after a bonus, you're always at the mercy of the bag, and Andrew has not picked a great selection here. Guiro, which was mentioned in the last game, is there, but I don't know where it plays. I would be looking to get rid of the Y. I'm looking at Roguy, R-O-G-U-Y, sorry, R-O-G-U-Y. But I don't know where that plays. Perhaps no, it looks if you could get Roguy on the board, I think that would be the best play, but I can't see a spot for it at present. Very important to remember that you can't have Roguier, R-O-G-U-I-E-R, which I didn't remember the other day and lost a turn on. But I managed to convince myself of it because of the validity of Roguy. Quite a lot of thought going into this play from Andrew here. Gyno for 38 is the best play. Making Cherty, I would have been very unsure of that hook. Guiro does play apparently somewhere. I can't quite see where at present. But Berry is the play. B-U-R-Y is the play. Guiro played at 2B, making open. But it looks like Berry, B-U-R-Y, is the play. James still really struggling with his rack. Both players struggling with their racks at the moment. A tight game. It could be a good one. This. I'm noticing that Andrew has just picked up the X, which could be handy for scoring. I'm wondering if something like PIU might be the best play. If there's a spot for it, and yeah, there is a spot. There's B13. It does open the bottom triple up. PIU is Lion. It's not a fantastic lead, but it's good for that rack. It's going to be difficult to leave something fantastic. Probably LIN might be the best lead from that rack. Sorry for the lull in the commentary here, but I think it's a bit of a lull in the game as well. It's got into some tough racks and some tough thinking having to be done here. I'm even struggling with that X on Andrew's rack to see what he's going to do with that. Can be a very dangerous scoring tile, the X, but perhaps not on this board. Ooh, Purloin for 24 is Championship players' best play here, and it's the only one giving a more than 50% win percentage. That's Purloin from 12A through the R. Yeah, that's a reasonable play. PU for 17 at B13. The player suggested looks to be second, and you've also got Purin for 20. In the same spot as Purloin. I'd much prefer Purloin, I think. I don't like the IOL leave. There's a nice pilly nut there for 13 points further down the simulation. And looping for 25 is the play. It's one of the highest scoring plays available, but not considered to be one of the best. Important to remember for anyone who's new to the game, new to tournament Scrabble, who's watching, that the highest scoring move is not always the best play. Rack leave is very important. Trying to get the balance between rack leave and high score most of the time. There are some other considerations to do with board position and giving stuff away to your opponents, but those are always secondary to score and rack leave. Except, of course, in the end game, where it can be very important not to give opponents the move they need. Okay, so Andrew 3-2-1, James 3-4-1. Very tight game. 8 in the bag, I think. Andrew there's still a Z to come, there's an S to come. Andrew has an S, he also has the X. I'm struggling with this rack here. There's XI for 20 from 6M, but that would be a bit of a gamble, given that there's still another S out. Andrew has an S himself that he could use on the end of it next time, but I don't think he'll find out with another S out. There's a higher than 50% chance that the S is in the bag, but it may well be on his opponent's rack from his perspective. I can't see James' rack at the moment. I've only got the Quackle view at present, so I can only see Andrew's rack at the moment. And yeah, so James doesn't have the S. So if Andrew were to make that XI play, he'd be safe, but he doesn't know that. Yep, I've got the both racks back now. So Andrew has played. I can't. Well, he's played Gory for 40 into that bottom corner. Yeah, that looks a very decent play. I was focusing too much on the X myself and what he was going to do with that, and didn't look at that one. That looks a very decent play into that bottom corner for 40 points. Could be absolutely vital in this game, and he has picked the Z and the remaining S. So he now has all the good tiles and a 20-point lead. Could be. I'd make him favourite from here. I think he should be favourite from here. Not sure what James is going to do with this rack here. He needs to try and score himself back into the lead. Of course, from James's perspective, it depends whether he's thinking about this negatively or positively. He could be thinking that some of those good tiles are among the remaining 4 that are in the bag. The odds are that one of those tiles will be in the bag, but they're not. They're all on Andrew's room. You might even be thinking that it's possible for Andrew to bonus out with something like islands, So he may well be looking just to play 3 tiles, but to play 3 tiles and score heavily. Would be a bit of a long shot for Andrew to have islands. I mean, I'm hearing the rattle of tiles, so a move has been played. The move is Sieve, S-I-E-V-E for 30. It's bold, it scores. And it's a bit of a gamble, really, but I'm not seeing what Andrew's got here to take that triple word. I mean, all the ammunitions on Andrew are at the high scoring stuff. He will be looking at that triple spot to begin with. I'm looking at Sazins, but the E is in the wrong place for that. When the game is this close, it becomes very difficult to know what the best order to do things in is. Championship player is saying 6 for 31 points is 100% win. That's at L7. There's a number of 100% winning plays here. Nizam's for 18 will win. Says 38, making Squad and Tsar. These are difficult by Nixies, which I hadn't seen into that onto that triple spot for 39. And XIS wins at 6M. And nothing else other than those 5 moves should win, but that all depends, of course, on James making the best moves with his rack as well. So Andrew could play one of those lesser moves and still end up winning the game. But there are 5 moves there which will definitely win him this game. Nizam is quite a nice word. It's the lowest scoring of those 5, and you can also have Nizam 8 as an 8-letter word, which is a nice word. The Nizam 8 is an area controlled by a Nizam, which is some sort of title, I think, like a lord. So long think on this. We are really in crunch time in this game. Andrew will have had a long week. He's played in the World Championships. I know how I'm feeling today after 4 games of Scrabble, 4 days of Scrabble. Sorry, 4 days of Scrabble, 5 games, and judging by the mistakes I'm making in the commentary, I'm surprised he's still able to concentrate. It's grueling playing that many games. So he's quite rightly taking a long time over this, trying to work out what his options are. So Andrew has 7 minutes on his clock. He's taken a long time to move already. There's James has 4:36 on his clock, but of course at the moment James is thinking in James will be using Andrew's time to think here, because Andrew's taking quite a long time over this move. So James will be trying to work out what Andrew's going to do and how he's going to respond to it. It looks as though 6 is going down. Yep, Andrew plays 6 for 31 points. Quackle says that is a 100% win. The only circumstance in which it would not be 100% win, if Quackle says it is, would be if Andrew plays the wrong move next time. James can do to win this game unless Andrew plays the wrong move next time. I'd be looking at something like 5 with James's rack here. It scores 33. It puts him ahead. I'm looking for, folded for 33. It's got 0 win percentage. I'm looking for, I'm looking for Andrew's outplays actually. But folded is the play, but it's not going to win. Yeah, okay. Nizam's is the outplay, which we've already mentioned. I wonder if Andrew knows and will see that. This is what I said about that SIX outplay is only a win if Andrew then does the right thing. It's only a 100% win if Andrew makes the right move next time. Folded looks to be the best that James has got. He's going to have to play that and hope for the best, I think. This is the sort of stage where you have to play as if your opponent is going to make a mistake. Okay, so folded is down. I think Andrew only has that one winning play. I've looked all around the board and I can't see anywhere else. It's not an easy spot. We have the benefit of having Quackle here, and I've missed that play twice now. I've even missed it after knowing it was there. It is not an easy spot. Says is also 100% win at K1, making squad and Czar. I think that's a more likely spot for Andrew. Nizam's is better. It scores less, but it's an outplay. It stops his opponent having another turn where they can make up some of that score. So Nizam's is going to be. It's got a note on the screen here saying that it looks as though Andrew has spotted Says that, or Jessica thinks that Andrew has spotted Says, and I think that is Says going down, but underscored by 1. I don't think that's going to make a difference. Probably James would still need 23 with this I and an N to get a draw, which probably isn't happening. Sorry, with a T and an A, James has. I was looking at Andrew's rack. So Andrew has the I and the N. I don't think it's T and A going to score enough. 17 for it and Taxa and TA. And that is play, and it looks like Andrew has won the game. So 427 to 423. Very close. There was a challenge in here somewhere, but yes, the challenge has won the game. However, with that underscore as well, Andrew would have lost by 2 without the challenge. If there is only one challenge, which I think there was only one challenge, Andrew would have lost by 1 with the scores as they've been given. But of course, with that misscored move, it would have been a draw without the challenge. So that shows 5-point penalty. It's not often the challenge. It's not often a challenge will cost you a game, but it has cost James on this occasion.
Definitely agree with you, Callum. Yeah, the challenge won the game. Oh, nice tile drawing. I'm being corrected. Nice tile drawing won the game.
Yeah.
And the challenge.
And some tricky racks at the start though for Andrew.
Yeah,
Andrew
definitely some tricky racks as well. Chert takes an S and a Y. Yeah, Itzia takes a W in front as well. So you could play One Ion for like 31.
And Andrew missed the track, of course, which I don't know if he knew it.
Yes, Andrew also missed a track when he played Quark. DETRAQUE. Through the A of Coke.
But Quark was nearly as good.
Yeah, Quark was nearly as good. But then James was had it with some news. Well, sum equals 1.
Okay, I'm going to take a 2-minute break before the next game.
Yeah, sure, take a break. And, yeah. So the players are just talking through their game in front of me while I just listen like an eavesdropper. Be interesting to know if they want to find out about the end game, whether you did actually have an outplay Andrew Nizam's NIZAMS. So 6 was the best, and then that gave you 2 100% win moves of Nizam's and Sets. Yeah. No. Other than try and like keep your 100-point lead. You know, that kind of sucks, you know, it's kind of dipped. I mean, instead of blah, you could have done Nahal, Nahal. Nahal instead of blah. So it would have unduplicated the ends as well, which was slightly better. Calum was advocating many changes, lots and lots of changes. For both of you, well, more for Andrew, he was like, I want to change. Pretty much. Yeah, especially with the Q. What? Yeah. Well, before Quark. So when you did Chert, he figured you should have changed the Q then. Because it was a pretty gross rack and there wasn't much going. Yeah, do that quick. Coughed was... Yeah, let's see, Coughed. Quackle liked Gift at 9B Which... Yeah, but at that point you are then blocking the only 7 bonus lane as well that isn't Cokes. So you're blocking like bonuses starting with T. Yeah, so gift would be here. You'd have been keeping Clunk really anyway. Instead of Pew, it liked Vega. It liked Vega at 3G. Making instead of Pew, just play Vega, making JA as well. Instead of Pew. Yeah, before Cez got there. Yeah, you might as well put this away now because it looks like we're slightly behind. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. It was definitely a good game. It's nice to not have a blowout on stream for a change, or on annotation. They will be available to view once I've kind of gone through them, edited them. Yeah. You'll be able to hear Calum start. It will be on Twitch from now, really. It will stay on Twitch for about a week, and then I've got to put it on YouTube. And it will be on YouTube, hopefully within the next month. I'm being hopeful. Next month.